doing? Are you all right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're still talking to each other for now anyway. So yeah, we're doing all right for now.
That's a start, isn't it? Well, if you didn't know the rules are 10 minutes conversation, Zoom chat only, staying at home. So obviously you're in home, you've passed the first test. 10-minute conversation only, no scripted questions, and we'll just see as far as we can get. All right, so I'll start the timer now. There we go. Right, so I'll ask you first, Chris, I guess. What have you been doing during this lockdown?
So I'm obviously working from home. I'm quite fortunate at my job. I work for the council, so we've all been made key workers. So I've kind of out and about a couple of days doing little bits and pieces, and then probably going to be out and about over the next couple of days. As part of the stuff we're doing with the council is obviously helping people who need support, really, stuff like food distribution and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a change in my normal role that I work in sport, but I'd rather be kind of out and about still doing something to help, really, as opposed to just kind of being stuck inside like Steph is.
Well, that brings me on to you, Steph. How have you been coping, not with the lockdown, just with Chris in general?
Poorly.
Oh, very poorly, yeah. I've just been staying out the way. No, it's tough, isn't it, being inside, especially when you're used to kind of being out and about all the time and being outside a lot. So, yeah, it's not great, but look, we're all in the same boat, and there's more important things going on in the world than us whinging about just being locked in our houses. So, but yeah, we're doing all right. He's still with us, so that's a start.
So far, so good. But we're only 2 weeks deep, you know. We never know how long this is going to go on. I might not be able to do this in a month or something. But so I suppose the really obvious question, right? Because everyone's really grappling at things to do. As you can tell by the fact I'm having a Zoom conversation without any scripted questions. What have you been watching on Netflix? Out and out.
Well, we watched Sunderland Till I Die. Obviously, we binge watched that.
Yeah.
With a little points through the day, and then last night.
Heard it's
good
quite
viewing for a Newcastle and Middlesbrough fan. Good viewing.
Safe Stranger, we battered through them, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we don't agree on the telly, to be fair.
We do the standard Netflix thing where you look for something to watch, and then it takes you half an hour, and then by the time you found something, you can't bother. So
you spend more time searching for stuff on Netflix, don't you? Than actually watching Netflix. Yeah.
Then there's some films you've not watched that I wanted to watch, but then they don't have them on, and I'm like, why have they not got that on? It's like a classic, but they don't have them on for some reason. So
the worst thing about this all, this is the second one I've done, right? So I asked Katie, and I've asked you, and none of you have mentioned Tiger King. Why are you not watching Tiger King? Have you not seen that yet?
Do you know what? We watched an episode of it, and it was just a bit random, a bit strange.
What is it about? Is it like a documentary, or is it like does anything happen? Because we watched the first episode and it was just weird.
Dreadful. Then we watched the second and got bored halfway through, and just thought, yeah, it's not for us. This
I think it starts at episode 3, but to answer the question, does anything happen? Everything happens. It's in my opinion, it's the funniest, best, but also saddest TV show at the same time. It's just bizarre.
Is it real? It's real, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely real. Yeah. It shouldn't be, but it's so real. But apparently Louis Theroux did a documentary with the guy beforehand as well. So I'm kind of, I've got that on the agenda as well, because everyone loves Louis Theroux, right?
Yeah.
You don't know who he is.
Is that thing? They just that jail thing in America and that the documentary.
She's right. See, she does. She does, Chris. She does. Shocking.
Only because I showed you who he is.
I know who he is. That's fine. Move on.
You can tell he's the boss. I guess one thing I suppose the last time I saw you was it the Watford game?
Yes.
Did we know we trained before? We trained after Watford.
Yeah, and then the Sheffield game got cancelled, didn't it?
Yeah,
and then it was all
that's
off
right.
after that.
Because I had designed that program for it, and I was in a mad rush to design the program for the Sheffield game. Ben didn't even pick the programs up, but that's all right. But I suppose obviously it's a shock when a season gets cancelled, but there is bigger things at hand at the minute. But how do you everyone has a pre-season, everyone's sort of used to that. So when you have a more of an enforced break, how do you plan for the next season when you've got it's looking probably more like 4 to 5 months as opposed to 2 months off, Steph.
Yeah, well, I've started speaking with Greg and Tom, obviously the S&C team, in terms of what we can do with the girls in the meantime. They've got a programme at the minute that they should be following, and they better be following. And then we've got a new programme due to start from mid-May. So mid-May we've got another 4 to 6 weeks of home stuff, obviously dependent on how kind of long that we're in lockdown and we can get them involved. And then hopefully at some point in June we can get them going back with the pre-season as normal, which from a kind of fitness S&C point of view we've got sorted. It's just a matter of me, Chris and Josh putting the technical stuff in now and then. It's a good time for us to plan and get sorted ready for next season. Hopefully we'll start sooner rather than later. That's all kind of in the pipeline. Regardless of what happens, we've got something to work with.
I suppose as well, Chris, there's been a lot of change within the club, I suppose. Like Ben's obviously moved into a new position. He's now owner. You've got this handsome chap that does media now as well. Couple of new players that came in. In January. I suppose in a sense, it almost felt like a really fresh start for us in January anyway, didn't it? So it's almost like we knew that probably a change was due to come, or we were ready for this next season going into sort of August. So I suppose in a sense, do you feel kind of lucky that we've got a little bit of that couple of months extra to kind of plan for next season?
I think obviously in the sense of planning perspective, 100%. Yeah. I think in terms of the league stopping and stuff like that, I mean, you would like to have continued with it, and obviously this not be an issue, because I wanted us to kind of stay up in the league on the back of our own performances, and I think it would have been an important step for the girls to achieve that with being a young team, and we're in a bit of a tricky situation, particularly after the Loughborough game before Christmas. I would like us to have kind of achieved what we wanted to off our own backs kind of thing. Yes. But I think in terms of the changes and stuff like that, Ben's obviously brought a kind of different angle to it, and he's working away at things in the background. And then obviously Josh came back in on the coaching side, yourself obviously coming in, and there was a good feel sort of from Christmas onwards with obviously Anna and Libby, Katie coming back from injury and stuff like that. There was a good feel. Obviously the Sunderland and Derby results kind of knocked us back a bit, but I think with where we were at with the squad, I think we were looking at kind of hopefully finishing on a good little run with the fixtures that we had left. We'd certainly targeted 4 or 5 wins. You do that, you start looking at finishing sort of six and above, really. Mm-hmm. So I think, the biggest thing that we have to do now is make the most of the time in terms of planning and stuff like that. So that's what we've been trying to do whilst we've obviously been at home a bit, yeah.
And Steph, just one for you. If there's anyone at home watching thinking, how do I keep fit within the house? You used to, obviously, your job is, athletes and training athletes and stuff like that. What tips would you have for people at home if they're saying, I kind of exercise?
You're asking totally the wrong person. I've literally the last week and a half, never exercised so much in my life. But in terms of, Chris,
1 Red Bull a day.
Yeah, I do. Stop it. But no, we've been trying to keep fit. You kind of have programs that you follow, and I dip in and out when I think I fancy the likes of it. But there's obviously some good CrossFit stuff out there as well, like you can do without any equipment and what have you. But I've just been trying to go for a run most days just to get a bit. Me one time I'm allowed out, get a bit of fresh air, and have a bit of a run. But you're asking totally the wrong person for fitness tips here.
Wasn't going to ask Chris though, was I? I've seen your belly, Chris. So we've got like a minute 20 left, right? So I asked Katie this, and she went with songs because she said she doesn't watch a movie. So 5 isolation movies that you'd recommend as a couple, as a pair.
Oh, Cool Runnings is the best film ever, so you've got to have that on there. I love a bit of Pitch Perfect.
Nah, come on.
We watched Wedding Crashers the other night.
Wedding Crashers is
good.
Film.
Yeah, what was that dog one we watched?
8 Below. If you're a dog lover, you need to watch 8 Below.
Yeah.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant.
What's it about?
Below, quality. I like Pursuit of Happiness. 8 Below is about these scientists who are based in North Pole or something like that. And they have a scientist comes over. No, the scientist comes over to go and look for a rock, but then to leave the site because the winter's come too early. There's a storm, but they have to leave the dogs.
He's not selling it, but it's a good film.
It's a true story, isn't it?
Yeah, if you love dogs, you've got to watch it.
So he gets.
I didn't cry at all. No, I didn't. I did cry at Marley and me. Yeah, I was in hysterics for a good half hour.
My girlfriend does exactly the same, but that's 10 minutes. That was pretty good. Stay safe. Stay home. Especially you, Chris. Stay home. No, actually, go out because you're delivering packages. But look after yourselves. Nice to catch up. And thanks for doing it. Cheers.
No problem. Bye.
See you later, mate.